I'm Nikki Campbell from Just Imagine. Thank you for joining me for the first of our Reading Journey book recommendations. This replaces our former Book Breeze recommendations and ties in more closely with our Reading Journey project and the Reading Journey digital reading journal. However, we hope the book recommendations will be useful to all teachers, librarians and nursery workers, regardless of whether your school currently uses the Reading Journey or not. We have changed the criteria for book selection to suit the purpose of the Reading Journey. So rather than presenting one big list, we've organised the presentation into 8 shorter videos covering the school years. Secondly, for the first time, we're working with the data generated by the Reading Journey app, which provides anonymised information about what children are reading. With thousands of books being uploaded to children's bookshelves every week, we're developing a comprehensive picture of children's reading choices. Together with pupil interviews, these provide valuable insight into children's reading preferences and motivations to read. So, in our quarterly selections, you will find books chosen primarily to appeal to children. However, we've also used our expertise to curate collections that nudge children to broaden their reading repertoires and make adventurous reading choices. Our position is to value children's reading preferences while also opening up the world of reading by offering choices that may not be as visible through mass media channels, supermarkets, or the high street. Each selection includes a variety of genre and formats that will suit children with different levels of reading attainment, in line with the general spread you would expect within a year group. There will be 4 collections released each year: the summer term, the new school year, the autumn term, and the spring term. Together, these will provide 40 new, recently published books each year to keep your book stock relevant and up to date. Of course, you do not need to be using the Reading Journey to find these packs useful. On the left, you can see our summer collection for Year 4. These books are mainly intended for independent reading, though you'll want to give book introductions before adding them to your reading area. The Reading Journey app is particularly well suited to children making independent book choices, as it's intended to support reading for pleasure and the development of reading identity. In Year 4, many children will have taken flight with their reading and be reading longer texts. However, visual literacy remains important. Graphic novels in particular are highly rated by children in this year group, as are humorous books, so we've made sure to feature them in our Year 4 selection. I'll present each title in turn in a moment, but first, if you want to purchase these class sets, use the QR code on the screen to buy them at our discounted price. Schools can pay by invoice with the authority to purchase or by credit card. Graphic novels first, and I'm starting with Dad-Bot: Rise of the Bad-Bots by Jack Knoll and published by Piccadilly Press. The first book in the Dad-Bot series was a huge hit with this year's Reading Gladiators, so we've included the new book in this Reading Journey selection. Josh and Daisy return with their lovable Dad-Bot, who they found at a car boot sale and repaired. It's told in bite-sized chapters, which help readers feel they're making good progress through the book. It's the end of the summer holidays. Daisy and Josh are returning to school, so what will Dad-Bot do all day? After failed attempts at being helpful, Dad buys Dad-Bot a honey, think Alexa, as a companion, and the two hit it off. But there's something suspicious about Dad-Bot's new friend. Her voice keeps changing, and it feels like she's watching them. Worse yet, Dad-Bot prefers spending time with Honey to spending time with Josh and Daisy. When a massive power cut affects the whole town, they realise something is really wrong, and that Honey's interest in Dad-Bot isn't just creepy, but it's dangerous. The episode on screen shows Dad-Bot at the park learning to make new friends. At the skate park, he upgrades one of the teenagers' e-scooters and earns some street cred before a surprise attack by some tiny bots, creates havoc. And then the town is plunged into darkness. What exactly is going on, and who is behind it? Comic genius Gary Northfield has a new series, Mighty Mega Pets. A strange magical substance has seeped into a pet food warehouse, and now dogs, cats, bunnies and fish all have freaky superpowers, whether they want them or not. The newly formed Mighty Mega Pets are determined to get to the bottom of the pet food mystery in order to, no pressure, save the world. Let's take a look inside. I love the energy in Gary Northfield's illustrations. Jamie Smart says that he's a cartooning genius, and I completely concur with that. You can always tell a Gary Northfield illustration by the mouth, I think, of these exaggerated characters. And as I said, the pets have all eaten some freaky pet food. So the Dachshund suddenly has all these multiple legs. And here's the cat with the laser eyes up here, and the bunny that has gone completely bonkers. Unfortunately, the tortoise doesn't have any superpowers, and the other pets won't let him eat the pet food because they say he's too grumpy, and he'll become even more grumpy if he eats the pet food. So here you can see what I mean by the energy in Gary Northfield's illustrations. This is the moment at which they are transformed. But we then go back to chapter 1, where it's all explained. And you can see that the tortoise is taking ages to reach his food. This is Arthur, and that's why he doesn't actually get transformed like the other pets. The fish can suddenly do all kinds of levitations. So they've got to get to the bottom of why this pet food has transformed them. This is the dog next door who goes all out and gets himself a superhero costume. It's great fun, and I'm sure the children in your Year 4 classes will absolutely love this. Chicken Hill, Attack of the Zombie Cactus, is a debut graphic novel by artist Becky Blake. It's published by Bloomsbury. The main characters in the book are a boy named Ferdy, his pet dog Gripper, and his forever sleepy cat Tink. There are 3 separate stories in this volume. Alien Invasion is the story of Uncle Russ, a ginger cat who also happens to be a conspiracy theorist and goes off in search of UFOs. Things don't go to plan, and it's down to Ferdy, Gripper and Tink to rescue him. In the second story, a Chihuahua called Chico is homesick for his family in Mexico. With his friend Zav and the gang, Ferdy sets out to find a way to make the Chihuahua feel at home, and that's when they meet the zombie cacti. In this spread, you can see Ferdy's workshop transforming into a skateboard shed and mowing down the zombies. In the final story, King Frog, Gripper wants a pet frog, which she found in the community pond. But when she accidentally ends up in the watery underworld, Ferdy and Tink come to the rescue. I love Becky Blake's textured artwork and the patterning on the newt's skin. It's this attention to detail with the imaginative stories that make Chicken Hill stand out for me. It must have taken ages to produce this artwork. The book also has a map, so you can locate the action of everything going on in Chicken Hill. Let's have a look at it. I want to share this delightful Chicken Hill map with you. This shows you the landscape of Chicken Hill, where everything happens. Now, most important, this is Ferdy's house, here, right in the centre. And this is his inventing shed. And you can see Gripper and Tink on either side there. What else can we see? Well, this is the pool, the community pond, where Gripper finds the fish that he wants as a pet fish and has his underwater adventure. Over here we have Zav and Chico's home, and you can just see them Peeping out of the window here, Chico is the dog that wants to return to Mexico. We have UFO sightings. You can see those in the sky up here and also over here. And then we've got some other really interesting things. Here's the Viking Museum and here's the Chicken Hill Diner. We've got the supermarket down here. We've got the school and we've got a fish and chip shop. There's lots to look at and a great inspiration for children creating their own maps or using this map to tell stories. Isn't it great? I can't wait for the Chicken Hill Frozen Squirrel mission, which is coming in July. Another vital genre for Year 4 is humour. There's a great deal of research on the value of humour for well-being and for cognitive development, but most importantly in this context for pure joy. Comedy frequently comes out as the top genre choice for children in this age group. So on to some classic comedy, Terry Pratchett's Tales of Time and Space. It's published by Puffin. With so many first-person and dialogue-heavy stories on the market, it's good to have this collection of classically narrated stories. There are 4 stories, each of which can be enjoyed in one sitting. They're attractively presented with full-colour illustration by Mark Beach and a layout that is easy on the eye. In the first story, the 59A bus travels back in time in a madcap adventure, arriving at the bus stop in the present day just 25 minutes late, having visited the Romans and King Arthur and the Stone Age. It's brilliant. There are occasional footnotes like this one from the second story, Professor Welk's Trip to Mars. It says, "We know better now, of course, but this story was written at a time when the first rockets were going up into space and some people still thought that the moon was made of a very tasty cheese. So why wouldn't there be a city of Martians on Mars?" The third story is from The Time-Travelling Caveman. There we are. And the last story is Lemonade on the Moon. Can you believe that Dave Pigeon is 10 years old? And to celebrate, there's a new Dave Pigeon story, Dave versus Dave. In this latest story from Swapna Haddow, there's a new pigeon in the shed called, yes, you've guessed it, Dave. The new pigeon has used a ruse to trick the human lady into thinking he's injured. Dave, the original, is not impressed. It's definitely two's company and three's a crowd in the pigeon shed. Narrated by Dave's sidekick Skipper, we're allowed an outsider's perspective on Dave's reactions, with illustrated dialogues between Skipper and Dave for extra humour. Dave Pigeon is published by Faber. Okay, that's enough of that. Monster Diaries by Ann Miller, illustrated by Sam Caldwell and published by HarperCollins, gives the lowdown on Greek mythology from the monsters' perspectives. In this story, The Cyclops and the Worst Party Ever, it's Polyphemus, the Cyclops, who gets the opportunity for redress. When people hear Polyphemus is a Cyclops, they always assume he's a big, scary monster with one eye who eats people. The truth is, yes, he is big, and he does have one huge eye, and okay, he does occasionally eat people, but that's not the whole story. All he ever wanted was to throw the greatest party of all time, but then Odysseus arrived and it all went very, very wrong. This book opens with a prologue written in the first person by Odysseus, so we get an impression of his character in his own words. Let's take a look. Ahoy! My name is Odysseus, and it's a huge honour for you to meet me, isn't it? My adventures are so famous that you probably know all about them already, but just in case you haven't yet had the pleasure of hearing about them, Here are a few amazing facts all about me. It all started with a big war fought between the Greeks, my side, and the Trojans, boo. It had been going on for ages, but then boom, I won it with just my clever old brain and a giant wooden horse and my rather excellent hair. Do you like it? I grew it myself. And let's just have a look at some of the pages so you can see the layout and the text to illustration ratio. So after the prologue, we have the first chapter, which is about the Cyclops. And this is from the point of view of the Cyclops. So we're getting the story from an alternative perspective. There are several humorous retellings of myths on the market, and this will appeal to fans of Louis Stowell's Loki, Bethany Walker's Medusa Gorgon, Tom Vaughan's Hercules, and Tiago de Moraes' Old Gods, New Tricks. Another highly popular genre for Year 4 is the animal story. The Island Vet series is written by Jill Lewis, a trained vet and writer known for her award-winning animal stories. Tia lives with her mum, the vet, on Gullhaven Island. In Stormbird Magic, fairy magic and the magic of nature meet in an accessible story designed to make reading easier for dyslexic children. Irina Augustinovich's expressive black and white illustrations help support the reader. Sticking with animals, Nicola Baker's Meeting Meg is the fourth story in the Whistledown Farm series. The series follows Ava and her family on their visits to the farm as she learns about farming life and the countryside. As you can see from the cover, there are 4 stories, each set in a different season. In Meeting Meg, Ava is determined to prove to her parents that she can look after puppy Meg in the hope that they will adopt her. It's an age-old story about a child yearning for a pet that will resonate with many children. I was never allowed to progress past the stick insects. At 300 pages, it has a more substantial text, interspersed with just a few black and white vignettes. It will suit avid readers in the class and is a lovely, gentle story for animal-loving Year 4s. On to non-fiction. How to Make Diamonds by Swapna Haddow, illustrated by Jess Bradley and published by Red Shed, is an attractively produced book that combines STEM activity with storytelling. And, bonus, it's funny. Topics include how to survive at sea as a new pirate. You can see a spread on the screen. On the left, a comic story tells how Granny joins the crew and is tasked with cooking and spotting sea monsters. But, big problem here, Granny doesn't have any salt to put on the pirates' chips. Can she come up with a plan before they throw her to the sea monsters? After the comic, there's a bit of science theory, followed by a double-page spread with a safe experiment that children can conduct following the step-by-step instructions. Other topics include how to win a school competition by making a rocket, how to be a detective using chromatography, and many others, including, of course, how to make diamonds from your pencils. Finally, we have Pooh, the most disgusting bits of science, from zoologist and multi-award-winning author Nicola Davies, illustrated by Neil Layton, and published by Walker Books. This is not an entirely new book, but a reformatted edition in standard paperback size, which is easy to carry around. It's packed with fascinating scientific information about Pooh and parasites. Nicola Davies, now the Children's Laureate of Wales, is an exceptional communicator of scientific ideas to young audiences, and the book is highly recommended. So that rounds up this selection. I hope you found this useful and that you'll join me again in July when I'll be presenting the collections for the new academic year. If you'd like to find out more about the reading journey, we're offering schools a month's free trial this summer. Please get in touch with assistant@justimagine.co.uk and we can set you up. Please note that the reading journey is only available to verified schools in the UK and internationally. It's not available to individuals or to other companies. Until the next time, have a great term. See you then.